Welcome, everyone. I'm Tracy Fitzpatrick, and I'll be your moderator today. Thank you so much for joining us here at Netcom Learning, a market leader in promoting lifelong learning, training, and talent development solutions. And we're very excited to host today's event, Why Microsoft Azure is Crucial to Your Digital Transformation Journey. Presenting today's topic is Brent Dawson. Brent is a Microsoft certified trainer with over 20 years of experience in the technology industry. Brent is also a Microsoft Dynamics architect who specializes in information security architecture, Azure DevOps, CISSP, SQL Server Administration, and architecture and enterprise architecture. He's delivered comprehensive Microsoft infrastructure and security training, giving his students the tools they need to build, maintain, and secure their Microsoft network infrastructure. Now, please bear in mind that this is an overview of a very robust topic. We offer a collection of technical and business courses that can be tailored to your specific requirements. If you are interested in a further discussion, you can make an appointment with our learning consultants through our website at netcomlearning.com. Today's session is also being recorded, so you'll get free access to the recording in the next 24 hours via email. Netcom Learning helps customers build innovative learning organizations by achieving a smarter workforce, adapting to change, and driving growth. We do this with a broad catalog of offerings, developing customized learning plans, and our global delivery capabilities. Since 1998, we have been empowering organizations with our managed learning services to help them reach optimal performance results and address challenges. We do have 9 practice areas in which we specialize. They encompass people, process, and technology training. Today's presentation is from the Cloud Practice Area. Netcom Learning offers a comprehensive training portfolio of courses for the topic being covered today. Our upcoming classes include various trainings on the given courses. You can also access a variety of marketing assets, such as the free training and blogs, by clicking on the available event handout. These offerings can be found with a simple search on our website at netcomlearning.com. Today's session will give you an overview of the impact that cloud computing is having on industries to drive economic and social growth in communities around the globe. Participants will learn what the different cloud migration options are available with Microsoft Azure and how your organization can realize the benefits of high-performance computing, digital manufacturing, big data, and data warehousing, among others. And now I would like to give you a quick overview of the logistics before we get started. To begin with, you do have the option to view in full screen by clicking on the full screen button on the right side of the GoToWebinar viewer. Simply hit the escape key to exit the full screen. Everyone has been muted except for our presenters. Feel free to submit any questions you have for the presenters here in the questions pane, and we will address them at the end of the session. And to get the best out of today's events, we've included the slides, courses we talk about, and marketing assets in the handout section of your GoToWebinar viewer. You may refer to them at any time to get a better understanding of today's topic. And we do realize that some of you may have to leave early and want to let you know that as you do leave the session today, you will be presented with a short survey. We would like to request for you to take a quick moment to participate in that survey. Your feedback really helps us understand your learning experience and improve our future sessions for you. The survey answers are measured on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 representing outstanding and 1 representing poor. And now I'd like to pass this over to our trainer to present today's topic. Hey Brent, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hello, and thanks for the wonderful introduction. I hope that I am audible and you can see my screen.
Yes, you are audible and we can see your screen. Everything looks great.
Thanks so much. Hello, everyone. As was mentioned, my name's Brent. I currently reside in London, England, originally from Canada. And for today, we're going to take a high-level look at why Microsoft Azure is critical to your digital transformation journey. So this sort of leads to the Microsoft course AZ109, or sorry, AZ900 rather, which is the fundamentals course for Microsoft Azure. And so let's start taking a look at the materials. So we're going to break it into 6 different parts for today. The first part deals with what the hybrid cloud is and sort of the introduction of the cloud. Then we'll take a look at the migration capabilities and which ways that we can migrate from an on-premises to a cloud-based deployment. We'll also then take a look at some of the high-performance computing capabilities that are in Azure, a look at how Azure and the cloud can implement and support digital manufacturing, look at some big data and data warehousing components, and then lastly, look at the infrastructure that makes up the Azure platform. So Azure is the Microsoft implementation of their cloud platform, and over the last few years, a lot of individual companies and individual people have started taking advantage of using cloud-based technologies. It does a few things. Of course, it gets rid of having to worry about the capital operational costs of having a data center on premise. It also allows you to let anybody access data pretty much anywhere they are. And overall, it makes life easier for an organization from an implementation and a planning process. So the way that the Azure platform is based is it uses a resource manager based concept. Now, it is possible, as you can see, that we can, using Azure and our on-premise data stacks, the capability of having a hybrid implementation. So really what a hybrid implementation does for us is that it allows us to take advantage of both on-premise computing capabilities and power that we have, as well as the ability and the capabilities the cloud gives us. And through here, we can use a number of different tools that Azure provides, including any of the Azure infrastructure services, such as software as a service or infrastructure as a service. We'll talk about those a little bit in one of the future slides. Also, the capability of allowing us to have modernized data centers using the Azure Stack, which includes tools such as highly available computing, hypercomputing, Kubernetes services, Docker services, as well as the ability to use virtual networking, such as virtual WANs, VPN gateways, and firewalls. Also, it allows us to extend our platform to implement and include IoT devices that we can run through the Azure system, which will also then give us the capability of recording and transmitting information from devices that are running throughout facilities or in your house or in your car or where have it to be. A number of the services that are enabled for hybrid components and hybrid services include web applications, so having a web app installed into the Azure platform, different Azure functions or code functions, logic apps, which is a way for us to do data transforms and transformations, event grids, which is a way for us to manage how data is processed within the system, and lastly, the Azure API Management Gateway, which is a way for us to be able to manage those instances that exist between the on-prem and the cloud-based system. A number of other tools that are specific around the data side include Azure hybrid SQL Server implementations, as well as SQL managed instances, where instead of actually building out a full SQL server, we're only using the SQL implementation or SQL as a service, software as a service, to allow us to be able to implement and work with data in the cloud. So our hybrid cloud sort of looks a little bit like this, where we have our virtual networks up in the cloud. We have our standard gateways. standard firewalls. We may have a number of VMs that are running in the platform, and these VMs allow us obviously to implement applications. They may be contained in what's referred to as a network security group, which is allowing us to restrict who does and who doesn't have access to specific resources. Those could be connected through a simple VPN gateway that is connected through our on-premise network to our virtual environments. And we may also create a bastion, where we have a bastion subnet that we would use as sort of the old connections to a firewall when we're sort of sitting between our internal and external firewall. Our on-premise network would then connect to the cloud using an Azure VPN, which would be guaranteed connection between your on-prem network and the Azure tenant that you have. And once we're in there, we get full advantage of the entire Azure stack. So the virtual environments, being able to connect through public addresses, using multi-tenant gateways and VPN tunnels to get to the internet, as well as being able to use load balancing devices to help us split the traffic out amongst the many computers and systems that we're running in the cloud. So this looks, very, very simple and whatnot. It is very high tech in the sense that it's using a lot of different components, but once they're implemented and working together, they work very well and allow you to seamlessly work with both applications and resources in the cloud and on-prem. So if I'm looking at going and sort of moving from, my normal data center to the cloud, what are some of the things that I can do, or what are some of the options that I have for migration of my information to the cloud? First of all, I have the ability to migrate different types of VMs. I'm not restricted to just Windows servers. I can also integrate and implement Linux servers or upgrade Linux servers, as well as virtual desktops from my on-prem environments to the cloud. I also have the ability to migrate pretty much all of my applications, whether they're based on ASP.NET, Java, PHP, or a number of other development languages that could be run as an application. I also have the ability to migrate most of my data. So I could take all of my SQL servers that are local and run them in SQL Azure. I could do analytics against those databases and data sources. I can create data lakes and data areas that I have a huge amount of information and data stored in the environment. I also have the ability to upload open source databases, so things like MySQL or NoSQL databases like Cosmos or MongoDB. A number, any of those types of databases can be migrated and moved into Azure, and as well as using the standard hybrid stack as well. So taking advantage of high availability, high computing capabilities of tools in the cloud. The other thing about when I'm working with hybrid implementations is that I'm not, again, restricted to just Microsoft technologies. I do have the ability to implement VMware virtual machines in Azure as well. So I'm getting the ability to use most of the advanced technologies that are available in the world within this entire virtualized environment. There's a few other scenarios that are also supported as well. We also have the capability of using secured workloads, and so this allows us to make sure that we have any type of technology that is required to make sure that the data is secured and private. We have that capability as well. The capability of moving mainframe data migration or data applications into the cloud using tools like NetApp virtual environments, as well as the ability to support SAP in the cloud as well. So the Microsoft Azure stack supports almost most of the major technologies that are available out on the market. But when we do the migration, we have to look at it from the point of view of, how are we going to get there? What are the processes to get us from our normal deployment to the cloud? And Microsoft has come up with a tool or a methodology called OneMigrate, which captures the migrate methodology and uses a set of consistent guidelines and processes to help let you migrate both Microsoft and other third-party technologies into the Azure stack. So within each of the scenarios, as you can see here, this is an example of an individual scenario. We want to have three processes or three stages of the project. We want to have a plan stage where we'll look at actually planning the deployment. We want to have a ready stage where we're getting everything ready to move it into the cloud. And then lastly, an adoption stage or an adopt stage where the users will actually start to take advantage of the technologies and the data that we've moved into the cloud. And all of this migration effort, it will have to be completed in iterations, right? You can't necessarily do everything all at once. Otherwise, you're going to have a very large project and a lot of downtime potentially that could have negative impact on your business. So you want to make sure that you're using the plan, ready, adopt framework because it's repeatable, it's iterative. So if you do agile project management, this is be right up your road. It helps for change management. It also works in the standard digital transformation processes. And so really what you're doing is looking at the three iterations. You're going to access the workloads, so you're going to do things in batches. You're going to do evaluation of costs, look at the architecture and how you're deployed. You're going to deploy those workloads, which means you're going to replicate the functionality that you have on-prem into the cloud using either infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, straight cloud native services, or any other combination that gives you some sort of modernization. And then lastly, release the workloads, where you're going to test, optimize, document, and then review. And then you're going to do that in every iteration, right? And then your change management, your governance structures that you have in place, in conjunction with the security that you're putting in place for this data, will be used as a way to get those workloads released to the greater use of the organization. If you follow this process, you will be very successful in completing your migrations from your on-premise networks to the cloud. It's been tried several times, thousands and thousands of times. It has become very, very successful. So the next thing is high performance computing. So high performance computing is sort of the catch-all when we're talking about making sure that an application has sufficient resources to be able to execute some sort of task. Okay, so here we've got an example of where we would put in high capacity or high performance computing. Let's say that we're going to be setting up and doing a lot of data analysis. Okay, so we have an organization that has big data, and we've got lots and lots. We may have petabytes of data that we need to analyze and work with. By implementing HPC, we have the ability to give ourselves the technology and the infrastructure to allow us to work with those large amounts of data and be able to translate that data into some sort of an output. So in this particular case that we're looking at here, we have our cloud base, which is Azure Active Directory. And below that, we have potentially using the Windows Virtual Desktop. And this is going to be giving us, virtual machines in the cloud that we're going to connect to and be able to run resources against or run commands against. On the left-hand side, you'll see that there's a line that points from our Azure AD servers into our Azure Active Directory using something called Azure AD Connect. And Azure AD Connect is a networking technology that gives us direct access between our on-prem our on-prem Active Directory and our cloud-based Active Directory structures as well, so that an individual can use single sign-on to be able to log into both environments and take advantage of those resources. Obviously, we're going to have some sort of endpoint. It could be an HTML5 device, could be a Windows Mac machine using iOS as a tablet or an Android, or it could be using Linux as well. And those are just your standard, ordinary desktop computers. They don't have to be anything specific. They're not necessarily server class computers. These are just ordinary desktops that you would sit down and use on a daily basis. From there, we're going to get into our subscription And you'll notice now that when we're in our subscription, that we are increasing the amount of resources that are available for us to work with. So we have a large number of desktop computer subnets that are available for us to work with. We have high availability with failover capabilities set up in the networks. We might have a number of different network protocol structures. So here we've got both our sort of virtual networks using standard VLANs, but we also have the ability to do VNets using spoke virtual networks. And then, of course, the VNets allow us to restrict the traffic to certain types of devices. But really what this is trying to lay out in sort of graphic form is that all of the application endpoints that are at the on-prem connections have, through different network access, whether it's a VPN tunnel or AD Connect or direct connection to Microsoft Cloud, the ability to take advantage of large numbers of virtual environments, virtual resources, to give us that high availability and high performance computing. If you think about the way that old Linux and Unix boxes used to work, where you would take 5 or 6 Unix servers and put them together, and then through code you would basically join them up to act as one, so you would get 5 times as much computing power, 5 times as much memory, and so forth. You're getting the exact same functionality in Azure, because you now have the ability to scale up and scale out all of the available resources that you need to allow for this high performance computing to execute. The other nice thing is of course that because it's cloud based, I can add and subtract resources as required. So I don't have to worry about the infrastructure costs, the hardware costs, the capital costs to be able to allow for my organization to have high performance computing locally, but instead I can just scale up resources in the cloud, and at the end of the month my cloud services bill comes in, and it might be slightly higher for a certain period of time, but that's good because it shows that I'm actually using those resources correctly. And when it comes to a point when I don't need those resources, I can then scale back and I can say, okay, you know what? Now I'm going to just use normal resources and go back to my previous subscription levels. So high performance computing is one of the really good things that Azure does very well. One of the other things that they do, and I've actually last year I helped Microsoft write an ebook on this, is how Microsoft Cloud is transforming and making digital manufacturing that much more efficient. Okay, if you think about the last few years, since 2019, obviously COVID has come in 2020. We had all sorts of issues with delivery and supply chain and all sorts of things, and that had an impact on manufacturing. A friend of mine works for a company back in Canada, and during the pandemic, they were struggling all of the time to be able to get enough resources in to be able to keep their business going, because everybody wanted their product, but they were in such short supply of raw materials to make their product that they were struggling for a while. Now, unfortunately, now the pandemic is over. Supply chain lines are getting better. Now they have too much stock, so it kind of swings both ways. But using the cloud and going through a digital transformation process makes manufacturing much more sustainable now for the future. Okay, so you're implementing newer technologies, and it's designed to help you deliver the capabilities that will support the core processes and all of the requirements of the particular industry that you're in. So there is an end-to-end manufacturing cloud solution, and this cloud solution will give you capabilities that will help secure and connect people together, assets together. We'll set up workflow capabilities, set up the automation of business processes, and ultimately allow an organization to become much more resilient. And here you can see that there are basically 2 areas with 5 sub-areas that the whole point of cloud manufacturing points off of. The first is obviously having data and knowing what that data is. So having good data and knowing the data is very important for how the manufacturing process works. From there, you want to make sure that you have security and compliance in place, as well as the ability to be sustainable. meaning that you can empower your workforce to have digital capabilities, operate in a safe methodology in your organization, allow for workforce transformation, allow you to have supply chain resiliency so that you can have multiple providers of resources when one isn't cutting it, and the capability to unlock different services and give you new capabilities of innovation within your organization to take advantage of manufacturing. And again, this is one of the things that Microsoft has really been focusing on the last year or so, and they've done a really good job of bringing digital transformation into the manufacturing processes. Everybody's probably heard the terms big data and data warehousing lately. You know, it seems to be the catchwords. And modern data warehousing is sort of the convergence of both relational and non-relational data, or better termed as structured and non-structured data, using something called the Azure Data Factory that will bring us together all sorts of different types of data. Now, a couple of different examples include things such as advanced analytics, right? So here we've got, we're going to ingest data from a number of different sources. It could be log data, which is unstructured, could be media, it could be file data, it could be business or custom applications, it could be a database, whatever. We're going to ingest that data into the Azure Data Factory. From there, we're going to put it into Azure Blob Storage, which is the sort of the standardized storage for Azure. From there, we'll then prep and train the different tools such as Sparkly, SparkML, SparkR, using the Azure Databricks through Polybase, which is a database methodology. And then from there, we're going to build ourselves Azure SQL data warehouses, Cosmo DBs, and from there we can use things such as the Azure Analytics services with Power BI, or on Cosmo DB we can use all sorts of different applications. But the point is that we have four phases of how we're going to get that data ready to work. We're going to ingest it, we're going to store it, we're then going to prep and train that data, and then lastly we're going to model and serve it. One thing in the ingest stage is that we're going to clean the data as well, because when we go through the data factory, we want to make sure that we have accurate and clean data, not just any junk data that we want to throw in there. Unfortunately, if we do that, we go from having a data lake to what I refer to as a data swamp, because we have all sorts of data that isn't really useful for anybody. Here's a second example of big data and data warehousing. This one is for real-time analytics. So here, we're ingesting the data, we're still doing the storage of the data, we're prepping and training the data as well as serving the data, but we're working on it slightly different. So in our sensors and IoT data, which is unstructured, we're now using Azure to import that or ingest that information using tools such as Kafka for HD Insight, which is from Apache. We still have the capability of using the Azure Data Factory to create the data that we had in the last slide, but now we've got another capability to use these real-time analytics from things like sensors and IoT devices and so forth to be able to also train and work with that data and then serve that data as well into tools such as Cosmo DB or MongoDB or whatever. But the features that are available are high capacity, high speed, high production or high computing, and also give us the advantage of using machine learning with ways to test experimentally some of the data that we have before we decide that we're going to display and provide that data to to end users to be able to work with in real-time applications. So again, another data transformation tool or data transformation process that Azure is very good at is dealing with big data and data warehousing. Now, don't get me wrong, storage in Azure is an expensive thing, but if you have a lot of data that you need to crunch and you need to do it quickly, this is your best method to be able to get those results that you're looking for. Lastly is the services and from an infrastructure point of view that Azure give us. So Azure basically provides us three structures that we have. We have infrastructure services, or IaaS, We have platform as a service. And we also have the capability of doing software as a service. Now, software as a service would be the equivalent of Microsoft Office, Dynamics 365, finance and supply chain management, Dynamics 365 for sales, those sorts of tools. Infrastructure as a service is sort of a half and half process where you are responsible to manage things like your applications and your data and your runtime tools, your middleware, your OS, and so on. Because in this case, you're running virtualized servers, right? So you're creating VMs in the cloud that you're going to install stuff on, and basically you're mirroring what you have on your local infrastructure. On the bottom half, Microsoft is responsible for managing the actual visualization platform, the server technology that the visualization is built on, the storage and the networking that you'll be using to connect to those particular resources that you're trying to work with, i.e. the virtual environments. Once we get more into the platform as a service, you'll notice that what Microsoft is managing versus what you are managing is a lot different. Microsoft now is responsible for pretty much everything on the platform side, i.e. the servers, the virtualization, the storage, the networking, patching, all that sort of stuff. And really all you are responsible for is the applications and the data that you're working with, okay? And that way you are now, absolved of actually having to make sure that the underlying infrastructure works. And therefore, Microsoft is now responsible for that. And the great thing about that is, of course, is that they monitor everything all the time. And, if resources are not functioning well, or they're running out of stuff, or you need to, you might have disk failure, their systems internally will monitor for those items and be able to move them around throughout the system. And if it's a package deployment, which is something that you would run locally and internally on your normal network, you're responsible for managing everything from acquiring the systems, setting up the network, the storage, the whole 9 yards. And then lastly, software as a service, the entire platform is managed by, in this case, Microsoft, because of the Microsoft 365 platform. So that is a very high level of what is included in some of the tools that Azure has for digital transformation. This is, barely scratched the surface of what we can do and what Azure can do. But I hope it gives you an idea of some of the areas that you can look at for your organization in the future to be able to become a more digitally transcribed organization. Okay, so thanks for that. Let's take a look at some ideas around how we can learn how to do this. Right now, Netcom Learning, of course, is one of the Microsoft Gold Learning partners. They run a lot of different courses with Microsoft technologies, and let's take a look at some of the reasons why you would potentially want to take a course through Netcom. So first of all, what are the certification benefits, right? Everybody talks about certification. It's like, well, okay, well, you go write a test and do whatever. But, I've been doing this for a lot of years. I've been in IT for 34 years. I've been a Microsoft trainer for close to 26. I have a number of the Microsoft certifications. I've taught a number of the different courses. And through my own experience with dealing with students, not only does the knowledge base that they get during these courses help them to be more efficient, it allows their employer to be more efficient. The downtime that they may potentially have is less. But from a personal point of view, it allows the individual to show greater recognition that they've actually acquired skills and that they know how to do things. They could potentially earn more money. Quite a lot of employers will use the acquisition of certifications as a way to promote an individual to a higher position in the organization, plus give them a pay raise. And, it gives them a greater chance for employability. A lot of people, when they don't have certifications, they might know what they're doing, but they don't really have a way of proving it. Whereas if you have the certification for Microsoft and you go in for an interview, you can show the potential employer, say, hey, you know what, I've got the certification, it's valid and so on. And the certifies that, I actually know what I'm talking about. The nice thing is also is that Microsoft provides what are called open badges, which are allowed to be used for things like your LinkedIn or your Facebook profile or your Twitter account, that sort of stuff. You can put it in your emails put it on your website, and it just shows that instantly that when that badge has been issued by Microsoft, the employer knows, okay, that they've got specific skills, whether it's under cloud platforms, identity management, Azure, whatever it happens to be, so that they can actually go and go, okay, this person has taken the time and the effort to get certified and understand what it is that they're doing. There is a book that's available in the portal that you have access to, and basically it's called The Win-Win of Certification, and it talks about how employees and businesses and other types of things can thrive using continuous learning. Continuous learning is a great way. Everybody thinks when they graduate university that, okay, I'm done learning. And in the IT world, it's nope, you just started. You have to keep going and keep going because things change so often. And so if you have well-trained, certified teams that work at your organization, it's been shown that they could be as much as 20% more productive than having staff that isn't trained or certified, mostly because they know ahead of time sort of where to look and how to solve problems within the environments. And so the book is just a short document, and it basically just talks about things like how training can improve results, how it can improve and benefit your career, both from a business point of view and personally, how continuous learning can help you increase higher pay, increase to higher pay, as well as how certifications can help to improve things such as productivity, efficiency, job satisfaction, and so forth, not just for your own sake, but with also the users in the organization that you work for. So the two Microsoft courses that we recommend for you to take and to potentially write the exams for include exam AZ900, which is the Azure Fundamentals course, which is more or less sort of what today's presentation was focused around. And we'll look at things like cloud concepts, architecture, services, governance, management, those sorts of things. And then the other course that you would want to take afterwards is the AZ104. And this is geared more towards the implementation, management, and day-to-day administration of an Azure environment. So things like identity management, storage, networking, computing, resource control, those sorts of day-to-day administrative stuff that somebody who is a normal on-prem data manager or server manager would then be using cloud technologies to do the same thing. So if we want to make sure that the business grows and your career grows, it's great that you take instructor-based training to help you learn that. And when you take instructor-based training at Netcom, you get obviously instructors who have knowledge of the technologies, but also how the world works from the point of view of how the technologies are used. You will get virtual hands-on lab exercises that you will do as part of the courseware, so that you can actually see what's happening in the construction of having an instructor there to be able to answer questions. Once the course has been completed, you'll have 180-day access to the virtual lab environments, so you can go back and redo exercises and try different things on a training environment that you're not going to hurt as much as you want in that 180 days. You also get 90-day access to all the resources, recordings rather, that have been taken during your instructor-led classes. If the instructors remember to turn them on, and I'm guilty for that. I always forget until it's 5 minutes into class. You get full access to the Netcom 365 Learner Portal, as well as 24/7 support, so that you can get, if you have run into issues with virtual machines or courseware or any of those sorts of things. And then lastly, some facts about certification renewals. Maintaining your certification now is a requirement. Every year, you must validate your skills by taking an upgrade exam. You get notified 6 months prior to when your exam expires, and so you get a number of opportunities to repeat taking the exam and passing it. The nice thing is it's free. It's all done online. It's technically open book, and you can take that test as many times as you need to, and so that you can pass the exam. The only caveat is that if you fail it 2 times in a row, you have to wait 24 hours you have to wait 24 hours between each of the times that you attempt to pass the exam, and that way. But again, you get notified 6 months in advance, and as I said, you can take it as many times as you need to until you pass it. If your certification, let's say, expires on April 3rd, but you take the exam and you pass it on November 2nd, your certification is still from the April date. It's not from October or November when you write the upgrade exam or the renewal exam. It renews on the date that your previous exam expires. So that being said, let's get trained and certified. Let's get let's get you into classes and learning things and improving your future, both for yourself and for your organization. Thank you very much. I appreciate your attendance. And if you do have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat window.
Thank you, Brent. That was very informative. Before we move forward to the Q&A, I'd like to announce that all the participants in today's webinar have been given exclusive free access to official Microsoft courseware on AZ-104, AZ-204, and AZ-305. And the best part is you also get to claim your digital achievement badges on Microsoft Learn to celebrate your Azure skilling journey. Issued by Microsoft, these badges can help you highlight your newly acquired skills and boost your career potential. Let's take a quick look at the steps that you need to follow to redeem your badges through this video.
Welcome to Netcom Learning, and thank you for participating in our Microsoft training. In this video, we will walk you through 4 easy steps to celebrate your course completion and claim your Microsoft Learn achievement trophies and badges through our learning portal, Netcom 365. Let's begin. The first step is to sign into your Microsoft Learn profile. For this, you must have an active Microsoft account for your Microsoft Learn profile. If you have the account, go to www.learn.microsoft.com on your web browser and click on Sign In at the top right corner. Just in case you don't have an existing account, click on Create One and follow the steps to set up your Microsoft Learn profile. Now the second step is to log in to Netcom 365 portal. Once you are logged into your Microsoft Learn profile, open a new tab. Go to www.netcomlearning.com and click on Netcom 365. Log into your Netcom 365 Learner portal using your registered email ID as the username. If you are logging in for the first time, select the Forgot Password option and create your login credentials. The password reset link will be shared on your email ID. Then we have the third step where you can claim your badge. In your Netcom 365 Learner dashboard, you will be able to see your ongoing classes on the homepage. Please find your class listed there. If you can't see it, click on the Completed Classes option on your dashboard. Here, as an example, we are using the MB910 Microsoft Dynamics 365 Fundamentals CRM course. Once you find your Microsoft class, click on Claim My Badge option. Select the checkbox stating, I am signed in to my Microsoft Learn profile. You can then click on the Redeem Your Achievement button, which will open a new Microsoft Learn tab. The fourth and last step is to redeem your Microsoft Learn achievement code. You will get a prompt to redeem your achievement along with a unique pre-filled code. Once you select the Redeem option, you can access your digital trophy and badges from the Achievements tab on the left-hand panel of your Microsoft Learn profile page. Now you have successfully completed your Microsoft training. Share your accomplishments with your friends and colleagues on LinkedIn, and tag Netcom Learning and Microsoft in your posts. If you have any questions, feel free to reach us at customerservice@netcomlearning.com, and we will be happy to assist you further. Thank you for choosing Netcom Learning for your training needs. Be a lifelong learner.
I know everyone is looking forward to the Q&A session, so go ahead and start putting your questions into the questions panel. And now I'd like to give the presentation rights over to Amitash, our vendor manager, to introduce our promotions and webinar-related courses.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So here I am. My name is Amitash. I'm the product marketing person for cloud courses at Netcom Learning. So I'll be taking you through some of our offerings that we have for cloud courses. So let's just go through it. Yeah, so some words about our organization. So Netcom Learning is actually one of the leading training providers of Microsoft courses, and we have won the 2022 Microsoft Learning Partner of the Year award. So we were one among the 3,900 plus nominations that had filed from around the world. So we have won this award. So be rest assured you're in safe hands. So let's take you through other assets of Netcom Learning. So we have served 80 plus Fortune 1000 companies from around the world. We have also served 16,000 plus enterprise customers and 175K plus professionals from around the world. So we were also awarded the Top 20 IT Training Company Award from trainingindustry.com in the year 2022. So we have been in this industry since 1998. So it's been like 23 years now, and we are one of the leading provider of cloud courses in North America. So not only cloud courses, we have also tied up with Microsoft, Cisco, project management, EC Council, Adobe, AWS, and other tech providers. So we provide various other training courses apart from cloud courses. So you can also go through our portfolio of courses through netcomlearning.com. And if you want to get access to the recording of the session that you have attended today, this handout will reach to you. Just click on this access recording button and you'll be able to reach the on-demand course page, and from there you'll be able to watch the recording of today's session. You can also go through our Netcom 365 portal. This is something you have to log into to get access to our courses and on-demand webinars and various other learning stuff that you have. So it's a learning management platform created by netcomlearning.com. So you'll be able to, enterprise customers will also be able to manage their attendance, registration management can be done, instructor management, and they'll be able to evaluate the progress of their learning and all of that. So it's a beautiful website that we have developed. So you can actually log into the website and you can learn more about our Netcom 365 portal. So we'll also take you through some of our offerings as far as the Microsoft training is concerned. Microsoft Skilling is one of our flagship offerings that we have. So if you're an enterprise customer and if you need courses in Azure Security, Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, or Power Platform platforms, we'll be able to provide you these courses. So for this, you'll have to click on this button. Again, when you get this handout, you'll be able to access this button and you'll be going to the landing page, and here you'll be able to learn more about our Microsoft Skilling program. So there are many benefits of our skilling program. You also get access to Netcom 365 portal that I already spoke to you about. And it actually is designed to meet the organizational upskilling needs. So we cover completely all the portfolios of Microsoft through this Microsoft Skilling program that we offer. Apart from it, we also have the value of certification program. So as you know, with Microsoft, actually, every certification that you take, most of the certifications that you take, it gets expired in 1 year. So we actually encourage people to recertify, because certification is something that validates their skills from time to time. By getting recertified, you'll also keep yourself updated with the latest technology and the developments that are happening on the Microsoft platform. So this is also one of our programs that we run. So you can get access to our free ebook to learn more about how a certification can help your organization, or it can help you at an individual level. So you'll also be able to find the process for getting recertified and various other stuff through our ebook on win-win of certification. Let's go to the next program that we have. Uh, for enterprise customers, again, we have the two-hour free Microsoft private training program. So this program is again designed especially for enterprise customers, where we customize the program based on the upskilling requirements of an enterprise customer. So this will actually help you understand how we deliver the training, how our instructors are, and how the entire learning journey takes place at Netcom Learning. So you have a requirement as an enterprise customer, you can discuss it with us, and we'll actually customize a training program for you, for your group, and you'll be able to understand how you can get upskilled through netcomlearning.com. Again, to learn more about our free training program, you can click on this link in your handout, digital handout, and you'll be able to reach the landing page. Netcom Plus subscription is again one of our offerings. It is for individual learners, enterprise learners again. So we have designed this offering at silver, gold, and platinum, three different stages. So the silver offering that we have, it's for free of cost. By signing up with this, you'll be able to access e-learning courses and on-demand webinars, master classes that we have. So it'll give you access to 300 plus e-learning modules that we offer. With the gold program, again, $199 per year, you will be able to access with all these e-learning courses plus some more e-learning modules like EC Council, Aware, and various other programs. So it gives you more benefits compared to the silver offering. It's a part of the gold offering that we have. And the best that we can offer is the platinum offering, where you'll be paying $2,999 as an individual, and you'll be getting access to 100 plus virtual instructor-led training courses. So if you are working across various technology platforms, so this is the ideal choice that you have to make, where you'll be getting access to both instructor-led training programs, digital training programs, and various other resources that we have. So this is the best offer that we can offer you. So if you are an individual learner, again, as I told you, if you are working across multiple technology platforms and you work across multiple projects, then this is the choice that you have to make. So we also have a similar offering for teams, which is the Learning Passport. Here, again, you will get access to 4,000 plus official courses that we offer for a period of 12 months. And as a team, you will be able to get training across Microsoft, AWS, Cisco, CompTIA, and various other technology platforms where we offer courses. So this is more like if you have a team of learners working across different technology platforms, then this is the program that you have to take. That is the Learning Passport. To learn more about this program, when you get the digital handout, you will be able to click this link and you'll be able to learn more about this Learning Passport program. So that's it. This is what I had to share with you. Thank you so much for attending the webinar. Thank you.
Thanks so much for guiding us through that information, Amitash. And now we're going to go ahead and jump right into our question and answer session. If you haven't yet, it's not too late to pop your questions into the question panel. And as we start our Q&A sessions, we're also going to launch a quick poll that we want to invite you to participate in. Doing so helps us to know how we can better serve you by telling us who might be interested in more information or in taking some additional training. In addition, we have a lot more informative webinars coming up, so please go to netcomlearning.com/webinars in order to register. First question we have today is, what is the best way that my company can save on the costs of Azure?
So one of the things that a lot of organizations worry about is, this is going to cost me a bunch of money. Is this going to be more cost effective or more expensive than on-prem deployments? It could be more expensive, but it depends. So the best way to save money with Microsoft is to get what's referred to as an enterprise access agreement or an enterprise agreement. When you buy an enterprise agreement, you get a discounted rate through your vendor, your licensing vendor, that will help you save costs on your overall licenses for Azure. If you're just an ordinary person and you go and start up a subscription and you pay for it monthly, you're paying basically premium prices for everything. So if you're a large organization or even a small one, signing up with Microsoft and getting an enterprise agreement will definitely save you a lot of money over the long run on costs for your Azure subscriptions.
Next question, what is the best way to secure my connection from my on-site data center to my Azure tenant?
So there's a number of different ways. The most secure is to use a dedicated Azure connection, where you have, the equivalent of quote unquote dark fiber from your data location to the cloud. But using AD Connect and VPN tunneling gateway to the Azure cloud are very secure, even though they go through the public network. They are secure. They secure all the transmission between the two. And I've never actually heard of any organization ever having troubles using the standard Microsoft technologies to communicate between your on-prem network and your cloud network. So I wouldn't be overly concerned that you have to be too security conscious around it. Microsoft does a very good job of putting that together for you.
And finally, what is the best way to migrate my network to Azure?
So the best way to migrate is to do it one piece at a time. Don't sit down and say, I'm going to take everything and I'm going to migrate it all up at once. Your best bet is to do things like, say, your domain controllers, and then maybe database servers, and then maybe mail servers, and then file and data servers, those sorts of things. But break your network out into smaller pieces and then do those migrations in smaller pieces. You'll have much greater success, and there's fewer chances that things will go wrong. And that will cause you to have to do extended outages on your network and make your end users unhappy. So break it up into smaller parts and then do it that way. Over time, you'll be much more successful.
Once again, I want to remind you that as you leave this session today, you will be presented with a short survey. We would like to request for you to help us by taking a quick moment to participate in that survey. Your feedback really helps us understand your learning experience, as we are constantly looking at how we can improve our future sessions. The survey answers are measured on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 representing outstanding and 1 representing poor. We want to thank all of you for joining us today, and if you do come up with any additional questions, feel free to send them to webinar@netcomlearning.com at any time. We hope that you found today's webinar informative, and we look forward to seeing you back here with us soon. Feel free to tell your friends and colleagues about our webinars and other courses. Have a great day, everyone.